Hey, it's the Mike Rogers Show. Mike Rogers here with you. And today we have a very special guest, youthful pop auteur. Juniper self-titled debut album was one of the 2020's best musical surprises, introducing a sincere new artist whose fresh, infectious songcraft reflects her wide-ranging musical inspirations while expressing the perspective of a contemporary teenager. The high school senior's second album, She Steals Candy, is a showcase for her love of diverse song-oriented music, on sale January 10th, 2023. Won't you welcome with me superstar Juniper? Yay!
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
No, thank you. Can you introduce yourself to us?
Yeah, of course. My name is Juniper. I'm 17, 18 next week. And I guess music has always been a big part of my life. My dad is a musician, and music has been a big part of our family dynamic. We have it while we eat dinner, in the kitchen, while we cook. So it's a big part of social life for me too. And that was how I got into it. And then it's been a part of my life ever since.
So you're still in high school? Wow. Yes. You must be one of the most popular kids in school, right?
That's very nice of you.
Are you? You're really popular. You must be class queen.
Thank you. No, definitely not. But I love high school. I'm happy, but I don't.
Really?
Yeah.
So how does I don't know, how does being in high school reconcile with being a pop star? Because you are, like, in Japan, you are a bona fide pop star now.
Easier than you'd think, I'd say. Well, for one thing, the people who typically listen to my music, my friends are very into it and are really excited about it. But because they've always known about it, it feels very natural, you know, that they know about it. It doesn't feel like a clash. And then also, like, because I have sort of my different worlds, I have my teenage world, and then also a lot of people I make music with are from different sort of older generations and have different perspectives. So it doesn't really feel like they exist separately for me, sort of.
Okay, so you're not class queen. So are you considered like a geek?
No, definitely not. I'm right in the middle. I'm well liked, but pretty even.
Oh yeah, I was a total geek in high school. What subjects are your favorite subjects to study in high school?
Definitely history, humanities. Not a math and science girl at all.
Really? So when you were a little kid, did your parents? I know you said you're from a musical family, but did your parents have you, like, play piano and things like that?
Yeah, I learned piano starting pretty young. My dad taught me the drums starting pretty young. What else? I learned flute. I was in band. I guess that's pretty geeky. I was in band all through middle school. And so I definitely a lot of practicing of music growing up.
So you started piano. How old were you?
Probably 7 or 8.
Did you like piano?
I loved it. Yeah. Played for
Your teacher wasn't mean?
She was very, she was pretty geeky. She was really into jazz standards, and she had a very, like, quiet voice. She was very gentle and calm.
In Japan, a lot of kids say they hated piano when they were kids because in Japan the piano teachers are really tough.
Yeah.
And if they think you're a good student, they'll be really rough on you and demanding that you will do this. You do that.
Not in the States, because people are afraid they'll scare you off. So everyone is pretty sweet, I think.
Oh, yeah. What was the first time somebody said to you, hey, you should sing, or you should make a record? How did that happen?
It was probably around the same time. I was around 8. And my dad and I'd always sang a lot, and we'd always been playing music together because I was learning piano. So we said, let's record a Christmas song just to give to our grandparents and post on Facebook, something fun to have in the kitchen. And we did that, and we recorded maybe 5 Christmas songs every year. And then when I was about 13, we said, oh, this is so much fun. And we got better at it. It was a lot, it was pretty good by then. And when I was 8, it was pretty bad. So we said, let's make this a whole album.
When you were 13, then your dad said, oh, we ought to make a record, like a proper record. Is that what happened?
Yeah, exactly.
Your dad was a musician, and he's a famous disc jockey, isn't he?
He is, yeah.
I've heard of Michael Shelley. So what bands was he in?
So the Michael Shelley band, his band, he was in for a long time, I guess still is. And they have a lot of amazing songs. Definitely listen. And
then he DJs at WFMU.
Mm-hmm.
Have you been to the station and hung out, wore the headphones and stuff, did all that stuff?
Exactly. He took me a lot when I was young, and I would go because anytime he goes on Saturday morning. So anytime my mom would go on a business trip, I would go with him to the station, and I would get to be on air. It was very exciting.
Really? You were on air?
Yeah, all the time.
So he had you say something on it. What was the first thing you said on the air? Like, hi, I'm Juniper, and you're listening to the Michael Shelley Show, or is that what happened?
Yeah, he had me record little bits, giving the station ID and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And then also every time I came, he would let me pick out a song that I would get to play, and then I'd have to explain why I chose that song.
What was the first song you played?
I think I chose Wouldn't It Be Nice by the Beach Boys.
You're in high school, but you picked a Beach Boys song?
I was probably 5 or 4. Yeah.
So you've been into classic rock since you were a little kid.
Yeah.
What artists do you like now?
Modern artists or just in general?
The modern artists, because I won't know any of them, but the listeners might.
Definitely. I'm pretty easy. I like most music, I would say. I love Taylor Swift. I love Camp and the Lumineers and sort of some more folky things like that. I don't know if you're familiar. I go to a lot of concerts like that with my friends.
Oh, you do? You go to concerts?
Yeah, I like to very much.
So the first band you liked was the Beach Boys then?
Yeah.
And then what was the first record you ever bought?
The first record, it's so funny now when you have Spotify. I don't even know if I've ever bought a record, to be honest. I think I just have streamed records.
Wow.
Albums.
That's I'm old. But no, I haven't bought a record in 30 some years either. So what was the first concert you went to?
That's a good question. I probably don't remember. I'm really lucky that I went to a lot of concerts and I still do go to a lot of concerts with my dad. The first concert, I remember the Beach Boys reunion tour. That was the first really big, like in a giant stadium with thousands of people concert that I had a big impact on me. I probably went to see NRBQ a lot of times as a young kid.
Wow. Where was the Beach Boys concert?
That's such a good. I'm actually not sure. In the Meadowlands, I think, in New Jersey.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you live in New Jersey now?
I do, yeah.
And that's where WFMU is, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah, Jersey City.
You're not into hip hop music? I thought all the kids were into hip hop music. Well, I don't mean to insult you.
No, not at all.
But,
I listen to some. I like most, as I said, like most music. Mm-hmm. I can appreciate. It's just not necessarily what I turn on when I'm alone,
Oh.
Yeah.
So, okay, so hip hop stars. Who do you like?
Hip hop stars. I'm not even sure I could name a hip hop star.
No, I couldn't either. You have your new records coming out January 10th, 2023. Yeah. Tell us about that record.
Oh, I'm so excited about it. it's similar to the first in theme, I think, and in tone. But I do think it's a little bit more mature. It's sort of a natural continuation, the difference between a 13-year-old and a 17-year-old. And I think you can hear that in the two records. I think it's a lot of fun. I'm so excited about it.
Yeah, I think Rodney Bingenheimer is going to play you this week.
I hope so. That's so exciting.
I'm a curator for Rodney.
Are you really?
Yeah. I was his assistant like in 1980, 81.
Yeah.
And he introduced me to everybody. I met Phil Spector, the Ramones, Clem Burke. I met all these really, really, really famous, and so many famous people. I didn't even know who they were.
Yeah.
I'm a suburban boy.
Yeah. Where are you from?
Well, I was born in San Diego, but I lived most of my life. My father was a Marine, so we moved around the United States. So I never went to the same elementary school.
Any year?
No, never any year. Moved every year. So I never had any friends. I was always an outsider. So that's why in high school I was a geek.
Sounds awful. How many schools did you go to?
7 or 8.
That's wild.
Yeah. So I have one friend from high school.
Yeah. Wow.
So you've been going to the same school. You went to the same elementary school, and then the same junior high school, and then the same high school. Wow. That's weird.
It's funny. My best friends are all still my best friends from kindergarten. And it's such a different thing than your experience.
I can't even imagine that. Have you any plans for touring or doing anything like that? Or can you tour? Or can you tour in the United States? You're almost 18, you say?
I don't think we have any plans for touring. Not at the moment, though we're not against it. Yeah, I'm going to college next year, so that kind of limits the touring opportunity.
Where are you going to college?
Don't know yet.
Oh, TBD. You don't?
Yeah.
Do you get good grades in school?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, very good. Very good. Your mom and dad must be so happy.
I think they're pleased.
So, but you haven't toured, but have you played any big shows yet?
Yeah. So before COVID, before the first album even came out in December of 2019, we played one show in Monty Hall, which is WFMU, the where my dad is a DJ. They sort of had a venue downstairs where we played. And that was amazing. That was so much fun. But then that was December and COVID happened in March. So nothing since then.
Monty Hall, that's what it's called?
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't even know that. You know, I work at WFMU too.
I know. My dad said you have a stream.
Yeah, well, I play like Japanese indies and underground music. I play
in Tokyo, right?
Yeah, I'm in Tokyo now.
Wow.
It's cold here.
Is it?
Oh yeah, it's really cold. It's freezing.
My God.
So you guys in America, you guys have central heating in your house, right?
Yeah.
They don't do that in Japan. You only heat one room, the room. So there's a heater right over there running, but I'm still cold. That's why, see, I'm wearing 2 sweaters because it's so cold.
Oh God. Sounds awful.
Yeah, but so the Japanese houses are built for like air to go through them because the summers are so hot and humid. So
how hot does it get?
Oh, well, 102 or 3, but that's not the bad part. The bad part is it's so humid. And I mean, it's humid. You don't need to go to the sauna or anything. You just step outside for 30 seconds and you're soaking wet.
Wow.
It gets, so don't come to Japan in August.
When's the time to come?
Oh, the best time is April and May are fantastic, and November is October and November are really nice. September is typhoon season.
Okay, I'll avoid.
They have lots of disasters in Japan. That's why we have Godzilla movies and things like that. Have you plans? Would you like to tour Japan?
Oh, I would love to. Yeah, it sounds amazing.
What about Japan do you especially like, the anime or something like that?
I imagine the food.
The food's great.
Would be a pull. I don't know much about it. I've never visited. I would love to though.
You're big in Japan.
I've heard that. It seems kind of hard to fathom over here on this side of the Atlantic, but it's amazing.
Let me explain. So there are very, very few FM radio stations in Japan. And then online streaming is not popular here at all.
Okay.
So like in Tokyo, there's 38 million people living here, but there's only 5 FM stations.
Wow. All right.
So if you get played on one of these FM stations, that's a big deal. So I used to play you a lot. Your first record, I played you all the time for weeks on end. And the kids really loved it.
That's so nice of you. Oh.
No, they just want to play really cool music, you know?
Thank you.
So what other things are you interested or?
I think in that way, I'm more of an academic when I like career wise, you know, I'm interested in government, politics and things like that.
Uh-huh.
Though I definitely also love movies, of course, love art. I've thought about directing or, you know, I'm still figuring it out.
What do you know about Japan?
Not very much, really. I know I love Japanese food. That's, you know, not too much else.
So in Japan, like sushi is really cheap. I heard you go to the United States and you go to a baseball game and you buy sushi and it's like $20 and it's really crappy.
Oh, it's disgusting. Yeah.
In Japan, you can get much, much better sushi for $5.
Wow. How much for $5?
Oh, yeah, the whole set. So, because in Japan, to become a sushi chef takes like 10 years before you can get a license to make sushi.
That's amazing.
So there's a lot of sushi places in the United States where the guy who started the restaurant had been to Japan for like 3 months, and swept floors at a sushi-san. Then he goes back to the United States, gets a license, and then opens up a sushi restaurant.
Yeah.
And then, it's, but not here. they don't allow that. Yeah, they don't allow that here.
That sounds fine by me. I'll take it.
So, how about She Steals Candy? Is the title track of your new record.
Exactly.
Do you?
No, not stealing. I do like candy.
Have you ever done anything bad like that?
No, I don't think I have.
I think when I was like 4 or 5 years old, we were living in San Diego and the back gate was open and I walked out and I went to a grocery store and right in front of the cashier, I picked up a candy bar and I ate it. She called the cops. She called the cops on me like, where's your mom?
Oh my God.
They drove me back home and I was like in the front seat, like, yeah, this is great. I'm in a police car.
You weren't scared?
No, not at all. I was like, this is so fun. And they put me in prison for 10 years. No, that didn't happen. Is there anything else that you would like to talk about with your Japanese audience or just your worldwide audience? Buy my record or do whatever.
Please do buy the record. I mean, it's a really amazing thing that because the album got released on a Japanese label and it's just such an exciting thing. We have a pink version of the album. It's just so surreal and strange. And like I said, it's hard to imagine being here in America, that anyone is listening in Japan, even that anyone is listening, you know, in New York. So it's really special and strange.
What Japanese label are you on? I didn't know that.
I do know. I know the name. Fabcom Records is where we are here.
Mm-hmm.
There. Let me double check for you.
Okay.
I should know that off the top of my head.
Let me see.
Sazanami. Maybe, I can't remember. It's early in the morning. I can't remember. I thought it was like 6:45 for you.
Yeah, it's 6:19 now.
Well, thank you for waking up.
No, I get up at 3:00 in the morning every day.
Why?
Well, because I do radio shows. So when it's like 5 a.m. here, it's, 4 p.m. the day before where you are.
Wow.
So I do my shows live.
Get it in there.
Live
so
from
it's
Tokyo.
Wednesday for you.
Yes.
Oh, happy Wednesday. How is it?
Yep.
How's it going?
It's cold. That's all I can say. It's cold. It's freezing cold. So what label are you on in Japan?
I'm trying to pull it up and I can't find the link. I'll email it to you once we get off.
Okay, yeah.
I'm embarrassed that I don't know. It's one of those things in the moment.
Oh yeah, you got to know that because the Japanese will get insulted.
I know. I got to know it. That's what I'm saying. It's the thing where it's like in the moment. I would know if you'd asked me 15 minutes before we started.
I didn't even know you were on a Japanese label.
Yeah, it's a pink record. It's amazing.
Wow. Wait a minute. I'll check that right now too. Let me see.
Thank you.
Juniper, Nihon, Nihon no label. Okay, let me see what we got. That's Juniper Networks. That's not you. Oh, there's so many Juniper things here.
That's the thing. It's impossible to search for. Here, I'm asking, and then I'll tell you.
What are your dreams and plans for the future? I mean, you're going to college, and then what are you going to study there?
I'm not entirely sure. I've applied for international relations major, concentration, things like that.
Concentration camp?
No, some of the schools they call it concentrations instead of majors.
Oh.
Yeah, no concentration camp. Okay, the name of the Japanese label is Lazy Perfection.
Oh, I know the label.
Lazy Perfection, yeah. And it's just the coolest, the most exciting thing to see it. It's amazing.
So your first record is not on Lazy Perfection, though.
The first record is we have it. It's been released on Lazy Perfection.
Yeah.
The second record, nothing.
I see. So, so your second record, you don't have a Japanese label?
No.
Oh, well, that's interesting information. I bet they would. The Japanese label would really like to release your record if, and these are the conditions, you can release the record, but you need to have it like 2 or 3 songs that are only on the Japanese record. They can't be on Spotify. They can't be on another label, just exclusive to that label. Japanese. And then they will release the record and also organize a tour for you.
Wow.
And that's how they do it here. Even though Spotify is a failure in Japan.
You're kidding me, really?
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's a total failure.
That's fascinating. Here, it's everywhere. People buy things for their car so that they can keep listening in the car. Special Spotify brands, like little setups. It's crazy.
Yeah. In Japan, Jazz Rack, the music publishing organization, has a lot of power. So they really put their thumb down on like Spotify, Pandora, and what's it called? Apple Music.
Yeah. And
the big Japanese artists will not release their songs on Spotify.
Wow. That's
so regular people won't pay for Spotify or anything like that. They just won't do it because it doesn't have their favorite big ass, artists on it.
Yeah.
I don't even know anyone who has Spotify.
Really? I don't know anyone who doesn't.
Yeah. For example, internet radio. There are Japanese internet stations. Well, a few, but they're not, you can't broadcast outside of Japan. Just inside of Japan. It's blocked outside of Japan. So WFMU does really well because they broadcast on the internet and you can listen to it in Japan.
Yeah.
And everybody knows that station here.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, this is like, I like to tell my friends Japan is like a real life Disneyland because there's no crime, there's basically no, like, you know, there's no graffiti, that people don't scream at each other in public. That just never happens.
Wow. I can't even imagine.
Yeah. So anyway, so after you have no plans for graduating from college?
A lot of half-formed plans. You know, I'm really excited to go to college and try a lot of things and try, you know, film and psychology and politics and see what I like and then decide what to do.
Okay, so everyone, that was Juniper and part 1 of this interview. Tune in tomorrow for part 2 and we'll be back with Juniper. If you like this video, click like and subscribe down here, please. And I'm Mike Rogers. Juniper, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye. See you tomorrow.